Hello, NFT folks, and thank you for swinging by. Today, I chat with Ben from Charged Particles. Charged Particles are the DeFi NFTs that earn you interest. So, how exactly is this interest earned? Well, it's done so via yield-bearing A tokens, which means you can add these A tokens onto your NFT, basically staking them in there and collecting the interest as time unfolds. Now, what type of NFTs can you stake these A tokens on? Good question. In particular, this is a great use case for static NFTs like art, trading cards, and potentially tickets or bonds. Okay, so you're adding the A tokens onto your desired NFT and you're giving them a specific charge, which we'll get into later in the video. However, Charged Particles also recently sold their first limited edition of leptons. Leptons boost your charge on your NFTs. Now, the sale of these leptons has concluded as of last week. They were released upon the launch of Charged Particles. However, the proceeds from the lepton sale went directly to the Charged Particles Community DAO Treasury. These DAO funds will be deployed to support the protocol's growth via voting and the governance token. So here we are at the marketplace for Charged Particles. You can see there's a few different types of NFTs, and upon clicking on them, we're able to tell whether or not they have any A tokens staked in them. So here, if we wanted to add A tokens after buying this NFT, we could go here and we can select the specific token that we'd like to add. Let's go with USD. So you would go through and select the coin you wanted and then select the amount. Again, this would be done on your own minted NFT during the minting process, which Ben will run us through later on in the video. Now, I think that gives you all the gist of it. This is a protocol in which you can stake A tokens onto NFTs and collect interest. Now, let's send it over to Ben so he can explain the ins and outs of the protocol and how you can maximize your experience while using Charged Particles. Ben breaks it down beautifully, step by step, showing us all how we can get involved. All right. Everyone, thanks for joining in. Ben, thanks for joining me. As always, I usually start these off with a thank you because I know that you project leads are always super busy, especially during these times with this crazy NFT marketplace. So I know that you guys recently dipped your toes in that water with the recent sale that you guys held. Can you talk about that sale and exactly what these leptons are?
Yeah, sure. Crazy indeed. So we'll go into more detail of what Charged Particles is, but first, just to cover the leptons, perhaps giving a little more context. So Charged Particles allows you to turn your NFT into a basket that holds other assets, other tokens, and even other NFTs. So we believe in progressive decentralization. Eventually, we will have a governance token. Eventually, we will distribute this via liquidity mining programs. So these lepton NFTs that we're selling are actually yield multiplier NFTs. And the way that this works is, it's a normal, fully transferable, non-custodial ERC 721 NFT. Looks cool, it's collectible. However, it has these special powers so that you can deposit this NFT into an NFT that you're yield farming whenever we do this program, and you get a boost in the rewards that you're receiving by applying the use of this lepton NFT.
Right. And then that is accomplished via the A tokens that you guys have there, where you can add those different tokens on. And I know that there's a range of the types that you can add where if you wanted to get a little bit more speculative with it, you could. What exactly are these A tokens? And kind of more importantly, how can someone add those A tokens on?
Yeah, sure. So Charged Particles is NFT agnostic. We're a protocol, so any piece of art, it can be energized or charged up right now with our DApp. But it's a protocol that's NFT agnostic. So the idea of supporting additional verticals, niches within the NFT space is where we're going with this. But right now, we're also token agnostic. So you take this NFT, this piece of art, you can deposit any sort of token in it. However, we have an integration with Aave. So if you take, say, 1,000 DAI and deposit it into your NFT, it's converted to a DAI, which is the Aave A token equivalent of DAI. It's earning yield, I don't know what it is right now, say 10%.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, you would have an extra $100 in interest that is accumulated on that 100,000 A DAI that you put in your NFT. the special thing that we do with Aave A tokens and why this integration is so interesting is that the interest that AGI is generating is completely programmable or configurable. So if you want a portion of that interest to go back to you, the creator, like an artist royalty, you can. If you want it to go to a third party, like a charity, you also can. And the kicker here is that even though I create this NFT, I put the initial 1,000 ADI in, using our platform, anybody else can deposit more ADI into this token. And then whatever percentage I've designated upon the creation, going back to me, the creator, is kind of, it follows through the life of this NFT. So somebody else throws another 1,000 DAI in there. Well, if I've dictated that 10% of this interest always goes back to me, the creator of this token, that's pretty sweet because I get 10% of that additional 10% in interest, even though I wasn't the one that put it in there.
And why would someone add funds there for someone else to collect interest on? Can the person adding the funds take it off and get the interest for themselves, or would that be like you mentioned, like the charity example? Would that be like you're donating to a charity fund and then that's where the interest comes into play?
Yeah, and I mean, so this we just launched on Wednesday, so
Right.
we have a lot of
You're still
theories of
figuring
how
out the use
people would
cases.
use this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a great blog post that's like the possibilities or unlimited creativity with charged particles. It goes into a lot of these ideas. But the short answer is we don't know, right? I mean, it's like a novel new idea that I create this piece of art, and anybody can deposit into it, and then a portion of that interest can go back to me, a portion can go to another party. So I'm sure there's some sort of Patreon-esque charitable giving, like lucky draw, random prize sort of aspect that you could kind of gamify why people would want to deposit into a wallet that they don't control and give up the interest stream that they also don't benefit from. So we're really looking to the community, like these are the building blocks. Go crazy, gamify the heck out of this, and see what you can come up with, and we're happy to support.
You mentioned art as a potential NFT. Is there any other types of NFTs that these can be attached to? I know like art and maybe like trading cards and stuff like that. But would I be able to attach these to more of a dynamic NFT, like a virtual piece of land, something that the form of it is always changing? Can I still earn interest on that while having it deployed? Or if I add to the NFT, if it is even possible, would that then get kind of locked away, kind of like Niftex is?
Yeah, good question. So Charged Particles is NFT agnostic. So the ability to give your NFT, your ERC 721, a smart wallet that's able to hold other tokens is possible across all types of NFTs.
That's awesome.
So with NFTs, it's almost easier to say what they are not, and those are fungible tokens, and then everything else is an NFT.
Yeah.
So something like land, absolutely, it's still an ERC 721. It just has this ability to hold other tokens that potentially could be yield generating tokens like Aave DAI. Thinking through why would somebody have a piece of land that they deposit tokens into as well. I mean, say for instance, there's a property tax or land tax sort of thing. Well, if you have assets deposited in this that are generating yield, perhaps the yield is enough to actually pay your property tax each year, so you don't have to worry about something like that. And then you think about some of these using NFTs as collateral for borrowing. Well, if there's an intrinsic value, there's a tokens deposited into this, it basically it gives it a baseline, it gives it an intrinsic value. So makes that process a little bit easier as well.
And how are the NFTs determined that are on the marketplace right now? Can anyone go and create an NFT and put it on your marketplace to stake in, or is it only select users right now since it is so early?
Yeah, good question. So we did just launch Wednesday. This is Monday, so less than a week live. The platform is open, so anybody at this point can come. They can mint an NFT. They can energize it. Which means they can deposit other tokens inside of it. As we mentioned before, they can view other people that have minted NFTs, and they can deposit tokens into those persons' NFTs. So energize other people's NFTs. So yeah, the platform is open. The marketplace that we have now is curated by us. We do have like a random gallery that's pulling up just people that have minted on our minting station. But eventually we'll hand this over to the community and have token curated lists. Who deserves to be in what category of this marketplace, but we're rotating it ourselves.
So go ahead and take us through that minting process.
Awesome. Okay, so once you're logged in, you would navigate to the mint page. Again, this is on staging, but it looks exactly the same. So, and let's can you tell what that is? Okay, so I would select my JPEG or PNG, whatever I want to do. NFT, something. These are properties. You can check out all of this in our FAQs. Something like that.
Okay.
Then I can mint the NFT. So then we talked about creator royalties. So this is a percentage of interest that whatever assets deposited in there goes back to me, the creator, the person minting it. So, I'll put this at 10%. So that's kind of nice. And then any percent of the resale, so the additional increase in price, that would go back to me, the creator, as well.
Very cool.
Minting. We'll see if this actually works. So you'll need to pay a little gas. Pop up whenever it's live, and then it will actually pop up in my manage page of NFTs that I've created there. So it's actually pretty fast.
Awesome.
So as soon as I see this NFT that I've put in here, I have the opportunity to set a price. So this would be the sale price that is listed for sale on our marketplace or other ones. You can clearly see all of the things that I've entered in here. So the 10% creator annuity, resale, royalty back to the creator.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deposit. This is testnet. Nobody freak out at the amount of money I have on here. So I'm going to deposit $100 into this NFT. I'll need to confirm in MetaMask, a transaction fee, and then, first you'll have to approve this token if you haven't done so already, and then actually pay the transaction fee to deposit it. So while this is working, again, down there, pretty darn fast on testnet. Again, these percentages are a little wrong on testnet. The mainnet version looks a lot better.
Awesome.
So this thing now is generating interest, and it is accruing charge or accumulated interest in real time. Now, I can do some different things here. I can time lock the assets that I'm putting in there. So that means that even though, it doesn't pop up the MetaMask when I'm sharing. That's good to know. Sharing screen, at least.
It did earlier. It's not now.
MetaMask transaction. Oh, okay. I'm approving MetaMask transactions near constantly with this. So you'll need to do a little transaction. So this actually locks the asset in place. These buttons, so discharge will pull out the accumulated interest, and then if it weren't time locked, you could remove the mask as well. But as you can see, I can put as many other assets in here as I would like. So each time paying a little gas, but then you're converting this asset, this maker, into a maker, a MKR, which is generating interest. these percentages that are messed up again, but and accumulating interest in your NFT's wallet. So things that we're going to be adding here soon. It's already at the protocol level. We've got a lot of features that aren't available in this UI, but you'll be able to deposit any token, so paste address, ERC 20 contract address. So this opens up the ability for anybody with a social token, any speculative token, any pool token assets can all be deposited inside of this NFT, as well as any other NFT. So you can put an NFT inside of an NFT, time lock it, create these kind of Russian doll scenarios of NFTs stacked on NFTs that we're really excited to start selling.
Gotcha. Awesome. And this marketplace for the future, I know it's tough to answer these questions because it is so early. But the marketplace right now, do you see it being somewhere where people are actually buying and selling these NFTs, or do you see it as, you described it as like a basket, right, to hold things? Do you see this marketplace as just being one big basket where people are constantly depositing stuff, but never really like selling and withdrawing things? Like, how do you see this kind of developing in the future?
Yeah, I mean, at Charged Particles, I mean, we aspire, our goal, our vision with all of this is whenever you see an NFT or you're thinking about buying an NFT, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, does this NFT have a charge? Because the price you're seeing, what does that reflect? Like it's, potential resale value, that artist's reputation, all of these things that give this digital art piece a value. However, there's now this other aspect, this other variable of like, hey, maybe that piece of art actually has one WBTC locked inside. Okay, well, it's probably got a baseline value of $50,000 because I could just buy the piece of art, pull out the WBTC. Okay, well, what if that WBTC is locked for a year? Well, how much does it have a value then? Well, what if that has a WBTC locked for a year, and then it also has that artist's social tokens that are locked for 2 years? How much value does that piece of art have? So then when you're looking at this art piece, this art price, and it's selling for $100,000, well, okay, so it's got that intrinsic value of 50K for the Bitcoin, but it's locked, so is that a positive or negative? Then it has the social tokens in there also locked. So what does that impact? And then you have that other just value of the art piece itself. So we want people to start thinking about these things. So our marketplace and minting platform and minting station are just to make this process easier, but eventually we'll whitelist NFTs that have been made on other minting platforms very, very soon, actually. We're going to be going through one by one, and this is to ensure the safety and really test that there aren't crazy NFTs that once you deposit tokens into them, they kind of go haywire. So our minting station and our marketplace are just kind of to make the whole experience right now. But I mean, these NFTs are sold on other marketplaces, like OpenSea or Rarible. So we're just aggregating some of the pieces that have been minted or featured from artists using our platform for now.
And when you're buying one of these NFTs, you gave the example of having a wrapped Bitcoin inside of it. When users are going through and deciding if they want to buy one of these, it's clearly stated there, like which coins are locked and for how long, correct? That's not like a surprise to someone once they buy it.
No, well, it is if you buy it from OpenSea and you didn't go
from
to our
OpenSea.
platform to check. Yeah, I mean, the UI isn't updated with them to show, hey, this actually has constituent assets inside of it. So no, it will be clear. It is clear now, but this will be a continued UI educational thing that we're working on. That's for sure.
And then to add the particles in, does the NFT have to be minted on your website, or can you transport different items into it that have been minted on, say, a Rarible or somewhere like that?
For now, only NFTs that were minted on our website. So we're not charging any fees to mint. Obviously, there's gas fees. that are comparable to other minting platforms. But for the safety of all of this, we're just limiting to you can only energize particles that were minted on our platform, but we'll soon open up a number of different other platforms, and you can vote on which ones to prioritize in our Discord right now. We've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned a governance token. That's not live right now, correct? You guys are still kind of waiting to launch that while everything kind of smooths out with the marketplace there.
Yeah, I mean, we believe in progressive decentralization. We want to have the community have a say in the decision making of the protocol. So to do this, we do want a governance token. We do want to distribute that via these liquidity mining programs, majority to the community. But the last thing we want to do is release this too early or too late. So really trying to find the balance of when it makes sense to release this, what actions we want to incentivize on the platform, and kind of what we want to reward and disincentivize with this governance token.
Mm-hmm. And then something that I heard you talking about on Andrew Steinwold's podcast, Zima Red, which I encourage everyone to go check out. I'll have a link to that chat on the video description here. Something you guys were talking about was like concert tickets. And if an artist wanted to sell tickets like ahead of time, or I guess if an artist was trying to sell tickets for a show, it would incentivize people to buy them sooner rather than later if they could have these charged particles in there. Say an artist says, hey, in the spring of 2022, I'm coming back. It's going to be my first live performance since 2019. Tickets are going to go on sale right now, but the show's not, 9 months, not for another 9 months. So someone would be able to buy a ticket with these charged particles in there and then just collect interest on it for the next 9 months. And then if the ticket is $150 and you're getting roughly 8% APY on this ticket, then you could go to the concert with like $10 to $15 in your pocket and get a free drink or a free food item or something like that, which I think is really cool, especially someone who's worked in professional sports for the last 6 years. I think there's so many cool use cases to this stuff. Like, do you see anything else that hasn't already been discussed in terms of this like real world application to these things outside of just tickets? Is there anything that you can think of that immediately, if you can get a partnership and get someone to mint NFTs on your platform, is there a use case or a particular industry that you plan on targeting to have direct utility of your platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. And yeah, the tickets and all of
so cool.
Please link that possibilities are for unlimited creativity article, because we go into a lot of these for sure. But yeah, I think fortunately or unfortunately, I guess, depending on how you look at it, the like financialization of everything. Yeah. So NFTs, as we said, are like this gigantic broad category. It can be a ticket, a concert ticket. It can be an e-gift card. It can be all of these sorts of things. But I think, an NFT representing a bond, the collateral being locked inside, unlocking at different tranches. Like, I think this is probably the killer use case of this charged particles technology. But ultimately, we're a protocol. So the first dApp that we've built is crypto art, but we're always looking for developers, teams that want to build leveraging this charged particles technology, and we're happy to support because in something like in-game items, these are going to be gigantic. Yeah. And having these in-game items have a value that grows over time because it's leveraging interest protocols, interest-generating protocols from borrowing and lending like Aave. I mean, the types of things you can do with this are very, very vast and immense. So, for something like that, we have no experience building a game people love and care about. And charged particles is just one little aspect of that. So, would love to work with people working on something like that want to integrate charged particles for sure.
Yeah, there's tons of cool use cases that you and Andrew had talked about, and I don't want to give too much away in there that people can kind of find out for themselves once they go and listen to it. But another one of the cool things was having it like for a treasure hunt in the different metaverse projects and stuff like that, which is kind of why I asked about the virtual land because myself as a landholder, I'm not like planning on selling my land anytime soon. I'm not really going out and marketing and building a ton of stuff, but it's still an NFT that right now is just a cold asset in my wallet, right? It's not really doing anything for me. So one of the things that Charge Particles does is incentivize holding for stuff like art, stuff like the bonds and stuff that you had mentioned. Like I think the NFTs as a bonds is probably one of the most, I guess, the biggest like untapped sector right now for real world application is like bonds, deeds, birth certificates, stuff like that. And if we can get that onto a reliable blockchain, charge particles makes so much sense to just throw something on there and just let it accrue. And do you see charge particles kind of being a presence over the next 10 to 15 years where someone can actually like send their kids to college or pay for some sort of trade school based off the charge particle protocol? Or is that something that you guys are looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, we would love to be.
Hmm.
There's a lot of changes that are happening every day. I mean, right now, this is being recorded early February, and gas prices are insane. It's almost cost prohibitive to do much of anything on this. So,
Hmm.
near term thinking about how can we solve this issue. But yeah, I mean, the long term vision here is that any and all NFTs can and will retain some sort of charge and have the other assets locked inside of them. So yeah, we're working towards that for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, just to note, it is February 22nd, and today I paid zero point zero 0.09 ETH for a gas fee. So
Oh,
crazy.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, encourage everybody. What is it? Gas.wtf to
No,
check
no,
out
don't
how
do
much.
that. Don't do that.
It's just terrible.
I went
It's
and looked
just
the other day.
terrible.
It was like the GDP of a small country of what I've spent on gas tokens. So
Well,
bringing it all the way back to the A tokens, how is the interest determined from those coins? Is it something that's set in their own personal or their own smart contracts, or is that something that Charge Particles is setting themselves?
yeah. So it's important to note that like there's no magic sauce. We're not creating these NFTs that suddenly are generating interest from some crazy
Mhm.
sorcery that we're doing, right? You deposit DAI into and I keep using DAI, but it could be any of the Aave tokens, so Link, for instance.
Okay.
Um, so there's a liquid borrowing and selling and lending market on Aave. So just like a bank, you give money to a bank, they pay you a little bit of interest, then they lend that money out to somebody else who is paying a little bit of interest, and they keep the spread there.
Mhm.
So these platforms like Aave or Compound are doing the same thing. So there's these borrowing and lending markets. So that is what's generating the yield. And it's just the same amount that's being generated by whatever asset you've deposited into charged particles. It's just the secret sauce is we're able to kind of direct those interest streams to different places. So
Okay.
you, the creator, or to a third party like a charity or whatever.
Hmm. So then if you're setting something up over the long term, you would want a more reliable coin or something like that to stake as the A token, something like a USDC and not one of these other coins where it gives you 19% APY, but the coin might not be worth anything come 5, 10 years down the road.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
there's normally somewhat of a risk premium built in. So if you're
Right.
seeing these crazy high yields,
Hmm.
you're probably being compensated for some sort of risk there, right?
Yeah.
So
So Ben, before I get you out of here, is there anything that you want to share with us that Charge Particles has coming up? Is there any new like leptin releases or artist partnering or any other partnerships really? Is there anything that you're willing to share with us right now?
yeah, so we've got a lot coming up.
Yeah.
We've just launched. We're talking a
Hmm.
lot of really fun partnerships that we're excited about. The ability for anybody with a social token to lock this into an NFT and engage with their community, and then those social tokens being locked for a time period. I think I think this could have a really, really good use case that we're really excited about.
Yeah.
So the platform's open. We have some how-to guides. We have some articles that kind of flex your creativity muscle. But please jump in our Discord. We're very responsive across all the platforms, but we're here to give crypto artists, people creating NFTs, a lot more flexibility with what they're doing. Don't worry, gas prices are expensive. We are looking into layer 2.
Nice.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, and there's a lot going on.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you for joining me, and good luck in the future.
Awesome.